working and everything? Okay, ready to go? Okay, Nuya, Nuya, welcome to 2016. This is our first update for from Six Nations for 2016. It's promising to be an exciting year, but with a new federal government in place, and we got to keep busy holding their feet to the fire to make sure they fulfill all the promises that they made. So we'll start off again, as we always do, with our Public Works update. The elected council has hired Negan Burnside Limited to undertake a 20-year waste management study for our community in response to our Six Nations landfill site getting to the point where it's going to be beyond capacity for the waste that's produced. It is critical that the community provide their input into this study because this will help to determine how the community would like to move forward with the community's waste management. The community has an opportunity to provide their input into this study by completing a survey, which can be completed online at www.sixnations.ca, or via a hard copy, which is being mailed out to all the homes that receive Canada Post neighborhood mail. So please submit all completed surveys to the Six Nations Public Works Office located at 1953 4th Line in Ohsweken. The deadline to submit your completed surveys is February 1st, 2016. There is also a community meeting scheduled for this Thursday, January 14th at the Six Nations Community Hall from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., where a presentation will be made and there will be an opportunity to speak to the Six Nations elected councillors and Negan Burnside representatives about the landfill site and to provide input into the study. There are also two major upgrades that will be taking place in the downtown Ohsweken area in the summer of 2016. First, there will be a water main replacement project that will be undertaken on Chiefswood Road from the Housing Building Department to 4th Line, and on 4th Line from Chiefswood Road down to the Human Services Building, which is past the entrance to the arena. Funding for this project is being provided in part by Canada and the Province of Ontario through the Small Communities Fund in combination with funds from Six Nations Council. At the same time, we will also be widening both ends of Chiefswood Road at the intersection with 4th Line so that we can implement a left-hand turn lane on Chiefswood Road at this intersection. This project will also include the replacement of the traffic lights and the installation of pedestrian hand signals and a crosswalk. There will be a community information session in February, which all are welcome to attend to get more information about these projects. We realize that this is going to create a lot of disruption in our most heavily traveled intersection in the community, but we would ask for the community's patience and understanding while we complete these upgrades, which are being done for the benefit of the community. The elected council is also avidly attempting to recover costs that resulted because of the community emergency that was declared regarding the household hazardous waste fire. I would also like to remind the community that the next household hazardous waste event will not take place until June of 2016. Please read the household hazardous waste flyer on www.sixnations.ca under landfill for tips on storing this waste until June, or even for alternative places that you can take this hazardous waste. The council is also pursuing making the intersection of 6th Line and Oneida Road a four-way stop for community safety. And we are continuing to pursue the opportunity of finding a way for Six Nations residents to connect to the water main that flows from Haldimand through New Credit. We're in the process of consulting with Haldimand County on these issues, and staff are working together on that. The Six Nations Public Works Administration Office is also having a Go Paperless contest, where Public Works customers can enter into a contest to win a $50 credit on your account with Public Works. This contest will run until February 1st. Please support Public Works in their effort to protect Mother Earth by reducing their paper output and register today by emailing publicworksadmin@sixnations.ca or contact the Public Works Office at 519-445-4242. The elected council has hired the Greenland Group, who has completed a master drainage and flood remediation plan for Mackenzie Creek in response to chronic drainage issues within the community. They have put together plans to address the major flooding areas in that watershed, and the cost estimated to do that remediation work are about $500,000. We are making a submission to the Small Communities Fund to try and get this work done, and looking for other sources of funding, because it is important that we address the flooding that's taking place. Unfortunately, the last point from Public Works, due to circumstances beyond their control, the Six Nations Public Works Office will no longer be selling Black Rock to community members. On social services, I just want to highlight some of the programs and services that will be starting in the next few weeks. On Monday and Tuesdays are going to be the after-school programs. Monday evenings, the family fun nights start. Friday evenings, the youth drop-in will continue. And Thursday evenings are set aside for a series of Haudenosaunee cultural teaching starting on January 21st and running until March 31st. Some of the topics to be addressed are identity, self-expression or history, the Great Law, mental and emotions, spirituality, relationships, physical health, and then on the 31st they'll end the series with a dinner and a social. The teacher homemaker will also be providing a series of workshops. Some of the topics they'll be covering are introductions and understanding of Agwani-Dao. That's the new child welfare designation area. That's going to be on January 14th. The role of the band representatives. Those are staff who can go to court with you if you have child welfare issues that you're dealing with. That will be on January 28th. On February 11th will be Kids Have Stress Too. And on February 25th will be Adults Have Stress Too. On March 10th, the topic is separations anxiety. March 30th, we'll deal with children born with addictions. April 13th, managing difficult behaviors. And on April 27th, there will be a presentation on family violence. The band reps will be also offering a kids' cultural workshop at the end of February. So our social services does have a lot of programs with a lot of interesting topics, so we encourage you to take part of that because these programs are being run for the benefit of the community. We also have a new committee in place. It's called the High Risk Committee. And in the spring of 2014, Ganokwasha Family Assault Services hosted the Kevin Cameron Violence Risk Assessment Training. Over 75 service providers attended this spring training session. After the training, there was an overwhelming desire on the part of community agencies to commit to collaborating to reduce and prevent the incidence of violence in our community. In the summer of 2015, Level 2 of the Kevin Cameron Violence Threat Risk Assessment Training was held, which provided a more in-depth look at ways to assess and mitigate the potential for violence. Under the leadership of the Six Nations Police, Ganokwasha Family Assault Support Services, Social Services, Agwani-Dao Child Welfare, Brant Family and Child Services, Health Services, Public Health and Education meet monthly to assess high-risk cases for the safety and protection of community residents. Together, these community members are working collaboratively and through a multidisciplinary partnership to identify and strategically develop a professional, community-based response to high-risk cases that may result in imminent harm or lethality of Six Nations community members. The safety and protection of community residents is the paramount consideration of this high-risk committee. To be assessed for eligibility of the high-risk committee, you can contact Staff Sergeant Tim Bombry at the Six Nations Police at 519-445-2811 or via email at tbombry@snpolice.ca. The Six Nations High Risk Committee has also developed a protocol that will foster an extra layer of protection for cases deemed as high-risk cases. These are likely situations where the Six Nations Police have already been called, but the situation still remains high risk for violence and abuse. Guided by the Six Nations Police, the Six Nations organizations and services will wrap around the families deemed as high risk to mitigate or lessen the risk of harm. Again, if community agencies or services would like to know more about this service or the Six Nations High Risk Committee, please contact Staff Sergeant Tim Bombry at 519-445-2811. They would be happy to come and do a presentation for your organization upon request. Farmers have asked us to again put out another notice to those individuals who are out there driving around in the community on ATVs. They have found that ATVs are damaging their crops by driving through their fields. We ask you to please refrain from driving on the farmer fields, as when you do that, you are not only destroying their crops, but you are affecting their livelihood. So we ask for your cooperation in staying off the fields with your ATVs.